Hey everybody, so I trade NQ on a 2-minute chart, and today I saw the same pattern 5 times and made money 5 times in a row. So it just repeats itself over and over again. I'm a momentum scalper. I just look for patterns that give a high probability that the next few minutes will be in my direction, so I can make money off that little scalp, right? That little spurt. And here it is. I call it a Santa candle because you got to give it a name. I mean, that's the best way to remember something. So I call it Santa candle because it's basically a gift. The idea of a Santa candle is this. So we have a certain level. Price shoots past that level, comes back down for a kiss, for a retest. When the market is convinced that that's in fact solid ground, it just then continues on its merry way with a greater sense of security, the sense that it no longer has an anxiety about if this is a good move or not, right? So I always think of Mr. Market as kind of a guy up in an airplane, and all this is double checking your parachute cords to make sure that before you jump out of the airplane, those parachute cords are on super tight, right? Before you jump out. Because let's face it, every time you open a trade, it's like pulling the pin on the grenade. I mean, it'll all blow up in your face. So you need to have that sense of reassurance. And you absolutely do not want any kind of anxiety, especially if you're going to put your hard-earned money into it. You know, it's important not to think like a small trader trading thousands of dollars. You got to think like you're a whale in Manhattan on some Wall Street firm and you're putting millions of dollars on the line. You need to have a sense of security. Uh, you know, you just got to know that that's a high probability trade. And that's what this is. Okay, let's get into it. So this is so I trade Heikin-Ashi candles. I don't use wicks. This is simply a moving average that I particularly enjoy, and I've created an offset above it and below it to create band lines. And I've chosen these particular values because I do see this quite common, where it'll get to here, bounce, get to there, bounce, eventually bounce. You know, here it did break through, but it took a little bit of effort, you know, and then it just kind of bounced back down off there. And again, same thing here. Okay, so this is why I like this particular indicator. The other thing I want to say too is, so my candles are red if they're falling, green if they're rising, and if they're outside the band, they're white. Because I am, at the end of the day, a momentum scalper. And when it's outside the band, it's typically very, very strong momentum has put them there. And that's very meaningful to me. I will trade that too. So for example, here, I would draw a line like that. It broke it. It's white. I would go long. And again, patterns repeat themselves. Did it again here too. Go long. Great. Another winning trade, right? Here it broke through. I would call that a struggle and pop because instead of a nice easy line to break through, it just kind of eventually curled around, but then did break out with some gusto, right? Okay. I just wanted to explain my white candles, but that's a video for another day. Right now, I just want to talk about Santa candles. And so this is what it looks like. And right, so it kind of overshot, came back down for the kiss, for the retest. It went green and it popped up again, right? So it does that little, a little Harry Potter or lightning bolt kind of a move, right? When this candle closes green, go long, scoop some. I would go in long here and get out at the kiss up there. Okay, so it happened there, and we see it again over, whoops, over here, right? It overshot, and we come back down again, and it does that kiss, and it went up again for that little lightning bolt thing, right? Again here, overshot, came up, came back down for that kiss, and went up again, right? Now, there's no guarantee it's going to make it to the line, and there's a good reason why it just kind of stopped here as an echo of this particular stop here. This is a little bit more ugly, but nonetheless, it overshot, came up, came back down, that kiss, right? That little third leg, up she shot. So this you might consider this a W, doom, 4 legs of a W. This would be a triple U. So here we have 1, 2, 3, and here again. This is going the other way. Went down, overshot, came up for that kiss, came back down right? A little further, right? Came down, overshot, came up here for that kiss here, and when it was, secure, it went back down again, right? So over and over and over again. So that's it, you know. It doesn't take, it's not rocket science to profit in the stock market, especially playing futures. I love futures, by the way. It's my absolute passion. And this is so all I'm doing. I'm just pretending I'm a big whale, investing millions of dollars, and I'm just looking for a sense of security, for a sense of confirmation that we are going in this particular direction, right? And so there we go. So I'm just going to go a little bit further here in this video, which is like, why was this a stopping point here? Why was this a stopping point here? Why was this a line here? Why was there a line here and a line up here, right? And after a while, I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years now, and it's basically off of this grid pattern that I've developed over the years, and because it works, that's why I keep it. Oh, in fact, I should have put another one in there too. Remember we had that one just before the market opened? Okay, and in fact, we had this one too. Same gray line here. All right, so I had to break through this line. Sometimes trading is like World War I trench warfare, right? This is a trench. It had to break through that trench for it to continue, its campaign forward. Broke through, out it goes. There's another trench line here. It had to break through, went through, right? And it went past, and it could not break through this trench here again, right? Tried 1, 2, 3 more times. After the third time, right, 3 times the charm, it kind of gave up a little bit, and it kind of did a little retreat. And where did it retreat to? It retreated to safety, which was this orange line here, right? And it popped back up again, right? This little Santa candle here we're talking about, right? Right off that gray line. Came back down, and came back down to where this time? Well, to this gray line, right? Up to here, a little M pattern there. As it came down, it did a little burp on the gray, came all the way down to here, a little W pattern here, went up, had to break through that line, when it went up and broke up to this line here, couldn't break through, did a little retreat for a little rest, right? That's what the market does. It expands, contracts, right? So we pushed forward, now we need a break, and came back down, right? So these lines here are a little bit jagged because they're actually, even though I'm on a 2-minute chart, these lines represent a 5-minute price data, which I have one more chart over here where this is a 5-minute chart, and you can see that the lines are not jagged, they're just straight because this is the actual time frame that most of the market uses. The big whales use 5-minute charts, right? So you see it very clearly, right? Kissed it, popped up, couldn't hold it, came back down, right? Kissed it, popped up. Couldn't I get past the orange here? Little M pattern off the orange, down she came, okay? All right, so I just wanted to explain that and what this is all about. And if we go back to that first chart, let's go back here, push that back, and there we go. And you think, well, it's going up and down, up and down. How do you know where to trade? Well, at that point, you look at a 5-minute chart or even a 10-minute chart, and you kind of go with whatever those candles are, because it gets noisy on the lower time frame. You move up to a higher time frame. And the other little trick that I have is I like to use a Hall moving average, which just does red-green based on slope. And if we're inside here below the line, I don't take any longs. And I wouldn't take a long until we're above and mother, like this little Santa candle, I'm above, I'm green, great. Try and hold it. I wouldn't go long from underneath, although it did a little pattern to the downside, but now I go red, that's fine, I'm short. It just kind of, even though I've gone up a lot here in the morning, for example, like I wouldn't take any shorts here because this whole line is not red yet. So that's a little throttle on my my over caffeinated trading habit, I try and be in sync with both higher time frames and with the haul, just to make sure I'm not, doing something goofy, because I typically do a lot of goofy things. So that is the point of a dashboard. The point of a dashboard is to stop you from doing stupid things. Okay, have a great day. Woohoo!